Welcome to the Flight Club Podcast, a woman's guide to leaning out. We give you a behind-the-scenes look at business launch and growth through the stories of successful female entrepreneurs. Here's your host, Felina Hansen, founder and CEO of Hera Hub.
Hello and welcome. I am really excited to have a conversation today with Beatriz Cabrera. She is the founder of the Beauty Tea Company. She also is an architect and has a business in the world of design and architecture as well. So she wears several hats. She founded the Beauty Tea Company about 2 years ago, and she has had a passion for this business for a very, very long time. So she is really living her dream and has launched this incredible product. I can attest. I have gone to one of her tea tastings. The product is amazing. The packaging is beautiful. It really is a unique product. So I'm excited to dive in today. Welcome to the show today, Beatriz.
Thank you so much, Felina. Thank you for having me here. I'm super excited. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, take us back. I know you are originally, you were raised in Guadalajara, Mexico. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct. I am Mexican. I came to the United States in 2010, and I've been living here in San Diego since. I love it here. I don't ever want to leave. It's so beautiful.
Awesome. Yes, absolutely. So talk about, before you came to the US, did you do your degree in architecture in Mexico before coming here?
Yes, I went to architecture school in Guadalajara, and I got my degree and my major in architecture in 2001. So it's been a while.
Oh,
And
awesome.
yes, so I practiced architecture in Mexico for 9 years, and then in 2010 I married, and my ex-husband, I'm divorced now, but my ex-husband, he was born in San Diego, so we moved here, and I got my green card, and then I started working for a big firm, and so that was very like a really lucky to get to that position, because I worked in amazing projects, like really huge projects. Like I remember my first project was the Terminal 2 of the San Diego International Airport. I was part of that team of architects, and it was amazing to get that project done. And then we did a lot of federal and public work. So I really got a big exposure to like a lot of different things that that helped me grow as an architect. So then I left that company and was the in-house architect for Taylor Guitars. And that was so amazing because I had to travel. They have a mill in Cameroon, and I love Taylor Guitars because they're very, very like focused on environmental and the environment and helping, the environment thrive. So I was very lucky to be part of that company and help them with projects like that mill in Cameroon. That was my favorite project because I got to travel there with Bob Taylor and his crew. And that was also an amazing experience.
Okay, I want to pause on this because this is really, really cool. So if people aren't familiar, Taylor Guitars is one of the most famous guitar companies, I would say, in the world. And it's based here in San Diego, which is kind of unique because we don't actually have a lot of world-renowned companies in San Diego. We have a handful, but it's really cool that he, built the company in San Diego, has roots in San Diego, and is Taylor Guitars is really known for taking really good care of its people and just being very deliberate in how it makes products, like very I don't know, just it's a special company. I mean, the products are very, very unique.
Yes, so I don't know if you know this, but Bob Taylor, he revolutionized the industry of guitar making. Like he redesigned the structure of the guitar. So he started making guitars because he didn't love the sound of them. So when he was like a teenager, he opened a guitar and he's like, I can make this work better. So he designed a different bracing, inside of the guitar. So he created like a new music box that created different sounds. That's how his company started. So when the company grew, like for example, one of the reasons he bought this mill in Cameroon is because if you look at a wood guitar, the neck, it's black. It's made out of ebony. So so he started investigating. So because ebony is like a limited resource in the world, there are not that many ebony trees anymore. So it stopped being legal to harvest from India and other places. So the only place that it was still available or it was still legal to harvest ebony was in Africa, in Cameroon. So he bought the mill in Cameroon to make sure that all the wood came from that place and it was legal. So every tree they cut, it has a GPS and it's registered, so they can trace it back. So one of the things that happened after he did that is that when he started getting the wood, he noticed that not all the ebony trees were completely black. They had like little like shapes of brown or gray, but the music industry didn't like it, so people who were cutting the trees, the forester, would just leave them there to die, to rot. It was wasted because you couldn't tell until you cut the tree and you see that it's like not completely black. Before he started doing this, the trees would just rot there. But then what he did, very smart, he started taking the pieces that had like a little bit of brown on it or different colors and just like use them in his like most high-end guitars. So they look even more beautiful. So then like he started like creating this new trend of not making the neck of the guitar completely black, but like with little bit of color, and that helped the forester, the environment, and people living in that area, because before that there was just like a bunch of trees that didn't get used. So that was another way that he revolutionized the industry.
That's awesome. And I noticed you have a LEED certification. Will you talk briefly about what LEED is and at what point in your career did you get that certification?
Yes. So it's leadership in energy and environmental design. So one of the reasons that I came to the United States was to get that certification. Because when I graduated in 2001, I moved to Tijuana, and is where I started my architecture career. So I was doing a big project in Tijuana with an architect from San Diego, and he started telling me about this certification, LEED. And I was like I'm still super passionate about the environment, And so he told me, you should get that certification. You're going to love it. It's going to help you so much. It's going to teach you how to save energy, how to like choose materials that are good for the environment and the people. And so I was like, I want to do it. So that's the reason why I wanted to come to the United States. When I first got married, my husband and I used to live in Tijuana. But when I heard about the certification, I told him like, hey, let's move to San Diego so I can get a job there, because you needed to have experience to get it. So I can get the certification. And so I came here, and luckily the first project that I got was LEED certified. So I was able to get it within a year of coming here. Awesome. Yes. So yeah, it's been very helpful because you get to learn a lot, and make better choices and decisions when you're like specifying materials or designing something. So you just make it way more efficient than a regular project.
Yeah, absolutely. And it sounds like that was really in the roots of Taylor Guitars based on the story that you told. So I love that came together.
Yeah, it was very, very aligned. Yes.
That's awesome. So I want to get to the decision that you made to launch your own design firm. Archmony Design, and you said it's a play on the words architecture and harmony. What
Yes.
made the decision, Beatrice, for you to leave at the time you were working for your project architect for a design group here in San Diego, and you left in February 2019 to start your own business? So this was your first business, and now you also have your second business, the BDT company. What was that decision to leave a stable paycheck and launch out onto your own?
The entrepreneur inside of me, I guess.
Awesome.
You know that itch, the itch of like, I want to do something better.
Yeah.
So when I've been very blessed and very lucky to have worked in amazing projects. Actually, in my last firm that I worked for, we were doing hotels and casinos and like really big projects. And it got to a point where I was just like, you know what? Like, I've done every single project that I've ever wanted to do. I want to start my own thing, and I want to help people because I noticed that there was a disconnection in between the contractor and the client and the architects. I felt like it was not cohesive, you know. I felt like it was, for example, if we had a meeting, like a owner architect contractor meeting, the contractor was blaming the architect was blaming the contractor, and the owner was just like left like, what's going on, right? So I wanted to create, that's the reason of the name Architecture in Harmony, because I wanted to create an architecture frame that was more cohesive, that had better communication and could bridge that gap in between the architect, the owner, and the contractor, so everybody would communicate better. So I just did it because I wanted to offer a better service to my clients. So that's the reason why I started the company.
Awesome. And what types of projects have you been working on since launching the business? Have you stayed with some of the bigger projects like hotels?
So I've done like, I do a lot of residentials, but I have done like really cool projects. Like I did a project for the safari park. And then actually I did 3 projects for them. And then I worked on the Museum of Making Music in Carlsbad for the NAM organization. Yeah, I did that remodel. I did the remodel for the new Village Arts Center, also in Carlsbad. That's one of my projects. Then I just finished. It's under construction right now. It's a project in National Cities called Western House and Gasket. So it's an industrial building that we're working on right now, and a lot of residential projects. Oh, and I did construction administration. That's also one of my favorite projects. Construction administration for the Portside Pier. You know, the Brigantine on Harbor.
Yeah.
Like the new Brigantine where the old Anthony's used to be. Yes, I did construction administration for them.
That is amazing. Wow. You have done quite a lot in the last 5 years under your own brand. How did you have time to launch a second company?
I guess I just made the time. I mean,
That's awesome. So talk about your passion around tea. You told me that this has been something you've been, thinking about and passionate about for a long time. So talk about that passion, and then what moved you to actually, say, okay, I'm going to launch this other amazing business as well.
Yes, of course. So in 2018, I decided to stop drinking alcohol. It was, I went to a Christmas party on 2017, December 2017, and I just drank so much that I was not feeling good at all the next day. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do dry January. And I just like did dry January, and it's been 6 years then, and I just been keep going since. But during that month when I stopped drinking, I started ordering iced teas everywhere I go. So I just like started developing these like taste for tea. And I was like, oh my God, this is so good. And I just started like little by little falling in love with it. So then that was in 2018. Then in 2021, so because of I used to have like not very good like eating and habits, and I used to drink a lot of coffee,
Mm,
and so I started growing like cysts on my breasts,
mm,
and so they were like growing, and but they were I was monitoring them, and they were fine. But then in 2021, I got a screen, and then like 3 months later, I felt that it was getting bigger. So I was like, what's going on? So I went to the doctor, and I have another like mammogram, and they said, you know what, like this is not looking good. You need to get a biopsy. And the doctor was like I'm pretty positive that this is like that it's not good. And I was like, oh my God, no. And I was started getting super scared. So I scheduled the biopsy. It was a month after that appointment, and I was like, I'm gonna make it disappear. Like I know
mm,
that there's people that have healed themselves with their minds and stuff. So I started doing a lot of meditations. I quit coffee like right there. I was like, I'm not gonna
mm,
drink a cup of coffee ever again, because one of the reasons that I was getting inflammation and it was growing is because I was drinking a lot of coffee. I would drink like 5 espressos a day, and so like it was crazy.
mm.
So I just started like changing my habits. Like that month, I did a detox that I only ate uh, uh, raw fresh raw fruits and vegetables for 30 days straight.
Wow.
Yes, and I was drinking a lot of tea. And then the day the biopsy came, of course I could still feel it, but
Mhm.
when I got the biopsy, it was benign. So even the doctor was shocked, like, how is it benign? Like there was no way. But I was like, yeah. And then ever since, I truly believe that it was all the tea that I drank those days that helped me.
Mm. Wow.
And not only that happened, but not only like my health just improved so much, but my skin just got so much better. My hair just started growing a lot, and I lost a lot of weight. And then I was like, this is amazing. Like, how come nobody knows about this? Like, I didn't know, you know?
Yeah.
I was like, I'm gonna make it my mission to just like spread the word about it, because it just like it's such a simple thing, but it's so amazing. And if people would just drink more tea, I mean, if we just look at the cultures that drink a lot of tea, they live longer. They just like have a more peaceful life.
Yeah.
And because tea, it's like a thing. It's like, I mean, you're drinking something that comes straight from the earth, and it has a very strong DNA. So it really helps.
Yeah, absolutely. I have to, I have to tell you this, Beatrice, like I am such a coffee drinker and I want to be a tea drinker. I think I told you this when I met you.
Yes,
I'm like, I really
yes.
want to be a tea drinker. I do, I do. And your teas are lovely and wonderful. I got to make the leap. I got to be honest. So I'm excited that you joined Hera Hub, and I know you're going to
Yeah.
bring some more samples in. You are going to make me a tea drinker. I just know it.
I'm gonna convert you. Yeah, that's my mission.
Oh my gosh, please. I drink coffee in the morning. I drink iced coffee in the afternoon. It's not good. So anyways, okay. So
Well, coffee is delicious. I do not blame you. Like it was hard to quit the habit for me. Like
yeah,
it was really hard,
yeah,
but I had no choice. I was
yeah,
like, you know what? My body has always been here for me.
yeah,
Now it's my turn to show up for him. For
yeah,
my I call it him because I think it carries me around,
yeah,
it
yeah,
protects me.
yes.
So that's why like I'm gonna show up. I'm gonna show up, and I'm gonna do my best, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I love it. So, talk a little bit about the process of creating a tea company. I mean, the obvious of naming and branding and packaging, which is a lot, but what does it take to to put all that together, the product itself, how do you select the product? Where do you buy the product? Give us the bit of the background.
Of course. Of course, I went into the tea business without knowing nothing about it. I had no idea about anything. So thank God for the internet. So I just started Googling like packaging, like, okay. And then I started just like looking at beautiful packaging. And then like, because I wanted to make it a luxury brand. So I was like, luxury tea, where does it, like, how is it packaged? Like, and things like that. So I just started like doing a lot of research and asking a lot of questions. So I remember I went on it. So I had the packaging nailed down. I had the branding. I have everything. And then I didn't know where to get the herbs. I had no idea. So, and I had in mind what I wanted. I wanted to have, for my first product, I wanted to have a trio. I wanted to have a blend that was for the brain. I wanted to have a blend that was for the heart. And I wanted to have a blend that was for the nervous system. So I just bought a bunch of like books that talk about like herbalism, and I was even about to get a herbal degree or something, but I was like, no. Maybe there's an easier way, right? So I remember I was dating at the time, and I went out on a date with a guy. We only went on one date, but he used to sell coffee. So I was telling him about my idea. Oh, you know what? Like, I just started like a tea brand, blah, blah, blah. Do you know where I can get herbs? And he told me, yes. He gave me like a bunch of different like providers. So I just started like reaching out to all of them, asking for samples. And then, funny thing, I had a friend that he was doing a retreat in Ibiza, and I was telling him about my idea of the tea company. And then he met a German guy over there that had a tea. He was a tea exporter in Germany. And so like everything just started to come together. So I just ordered, I don't know, probably like 200 samples of tea from everywhere, all over the world. Like I got plantations in China, India, Argentina, Kenya, everywhere. And I was drinking tea nonstop for like, I don't know, 2 weeks, tasting all of them. So, and the ones that I wanted at the end, the I Am Love, I Am Peace, and I Am Energy, which are my first 3 products, I found them here in the United States. So I reach out to this company, their tea import. So they select the blends and they bring them from all over the world. So, and they just like, and they have a wholesale, they just sell you wholesale, and they can make your own blends. So they have these different options, and they can blend your own tea. And I was super lucky to meet them. And that's how I found them. That's how I found those blends. So that's the story of how it started. I'm telling you, I don't even know how. But I was like, you know what? Like, I feel that we all have the capacity to figure things out if we really want to.
Yeah.
Like, I truly believe that if you ask a question, that question is always answered, always. So
absolutely. And thanks to Google, right? Like
exactly. I mean, now it's even easier.
Yeah, exactly. That's amazing. So talk about, where can folks buy the tea? How do folks, tell us, go to the website, or are there other places you sell the tea? What's the best place for people to go to find this awesome product?
Thank you. Absolutely. So you can find the blends at thebeautyteacompany.com. And we also sell on Amazon. Just search the Beauty Tea Company, and we have our blends there. And we also do pop-ups. Like, we're gonna have an upcoming one in that's gonna be in Long Beach. It's gonna be on January the 27th. But then we have another one at Del Mar Plaza on February the 3rd. It's gonna be from noon to 4 p.m. that's gonna be a fun one because it's gonna be a Valentine's or
Oh,
Valentine's or
yes.
Valentine's. Yeah,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know.
that's awesome. What was that process of getting your products on Amazon like? Was that a pretty big endeavor?
Not really. So
Okay.
what happened is that I was like, oh, I want to sell on Amazon because they do all you just send your product and they fulfill it for you and it's fun. So I remember I was in Cancun in a Dr. Joe dispenser retreat and I was like, I want to sell on Amazon and I just started like Googling how to do it and I fill up my application. They asked me for because I have a corporation, they asked me for my corporation's papers and then I had an interview with them where they had to see me and see my ID if I was like not impersonating someone else.
Hmm.
And then they activate your account and then you so I had an issue with my listings.
Mm.
So the first time I did my listing, they flagged it because I was advertising the tea that because it has one of the blends has blueberries, and blueberries are really good for your brain to detox from heavy metals. I put in my listing that it was good to detox from heavy metals, and they asked me if I had FDA clearance to say that. I
Mm.
was like, no, it's just tea. I don't need FDA clearance, And they were like, no, you cannot say that. So they flagged it, and I was like, oh my God. Like that was like, I
Stressful.
was like, what am I gonna do now? And I asked, but I called them, and I had like the nicest lady talk to me on the phone, and she was like, what you can do, just repackage it and just remove. Don't say that it detoxes. So just like don't talk about things that like that, like nothing that has to do with like having it. You can say that but if you don't have clearance, you cannot say that it has health benefits,
Yeah.
though it has. But I was like, okay, I'm not gonna argue with them. So I just repackage, the tea that I was sending to Amazon, and yeah, it's been working. I've been selling on Amazon for 2 years now.
That's amazing. That is
Yes,
awesome. That is, yeah. I mean, the biggest marketplace on the planet. You can't ignore it if you're doing retail sales.
exactly.
So that's awesome. That's great. Well, Beatrice, we're in a new year, 2024. What's one or two things that you're looking forward to? I know you have some tea tastings and some events happening, but what else are you working on?
Well, I'm looking forward to grow my business, to have more reach and to serve more people. Uh, as I said, I'm still figuring things out. But I'm excited also being part of the Hera Hub. I'm super excited about that. I can't wait to see what the future, holds for us. And yeah, I think just I have a couple of trips planned. I'm going to New York the first week of February to New York Now. It's the biggest wholesale event in the United States to see, what connections can I make over there. I'm always like open to possibilities.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that
So,
about you. You are so open. And one thing I want to mention when I met you, I love that you are a serious reader. I mean, you were like over
oh
the
my
Christmas
God,
break, I read
yes.
like 15 business books. I'm like, man, this girl is really on it.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, you can figure anything out. And there's a lot of people that has done it already. So if you can, to me, reading is like getting a shortcut because like it's seriously like there's a solution for every problem that you have. Someone has already figured it out. So that's why I read so much. I love it. I just love to learn and I love to read and I love to grow. And I think that's part of life.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. Well, we're going to have you help us lead some book club events here at Hera Hub this year.
Absolutely, that would be my absolute pleasure.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, Beatrice, thank you so much for your time. I really, really appreciate you sharing your amazing story with us.
Oh my God, thank you so very much for having me, and I'm happy to share. And I'm here. My contact information. It's I think you're gonna list it, but If not, you can email me at info@thebeautyteacompany.com. And I'm there for you guys for any
Perfect.
question.
Awesome. Thanks,
Thank you so
Beatriz.
much.
Yeah.
Thank you. Have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you for joining this week's episode of Flight Club, sponsored by Hera Hub. We look forward to sharing more success stories with you soon.